All right, welcome back. That didn't take long. I'm glad you're here. Before we continue, be sure to push the subscribe button if you haven't already, the follow button, the share button, and if you think this information is worthy of somebody hearing, maybe it'll help them, go ahead and send it. I'm glad you're enjoying these mental health videos, both the long ones like this one and the short ones. I have over 700 videos now. Hey, enjoy them all. It's free. Now, let's just talk about how to cope with the loss of a long-term friendship. Once upon a time, this happened in my life. I know exactly when it was. April the 2nd, 2022, like a couple years ago. Early afternoon, I was sitting in my living room on the couch next to my wonderful wife, and I received this text message from a friend. I'd known him a long time, 35 years. Since I was 14 or 15 years old. That's how long I've known this cat. I remember that he had been in a doctorate program, so he'd been pretty busy, hadn't been able to hang out much. So when I got the text, I was pretty excited. But my excitement didn't last because I was reading this text that said something to the effect of, he appreciated all the memories but did not want to communicate anymore. It was actually really beautifully worded, polite. My friend, he thinks before he speaks. So yeah, good manners put aside, it felt like a punch right in the gut. And I must have been talking a lot about boundaries in session. You have to respect people's boundaries. You just have to. So I'm pretty sure my reply was something like, okay, I respect your boundary. And that was that. Sent it off, showed my wife the text. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Regardless, for months afterwards, I would ask myself the same question over and over. You might do this too. Why did this happen? What did I do? Where could I have done something different? Maybe they just didn't like one of my videos. I have some really not great videos out there. I don't know. Maybe he got recruited by some covert organization and they said, hey, this is a great cause, but you have to really defriend everybody you know. It'll put them in danger. My brain has some fun with stuff. And it didn't, by the way, help that I had other long-term friends closely related to this person. So there are 4 of us all together. So when the one bailed so completely and unexpectedly, I really had a hard time keeping my brain in check to what might be going on with the other 2, you know? Were they going to reject me too? This is really a difficult time for me. But eventually I was like, I can't do it anymore. And I just went, cut it off. I just texted him in the group text, hey, I'm out. I felt too unsafe to continue in that group of friends. And they're cool. They're cool. It's super cool. Like, yeah, it was a huge loss in my life. But I felt too unsafe, so I had to, for my own wellness, just chop it off. I don't think that was actually the best thing to do, but it was something I had to do at the time just to feel like I had some control. Genuinely one of the most difficult experiences I've ever had in my life. So if you're experiencing something similar, you're not alone. But enough about me, let's get on with this video. Losing a friend can set off a range of emotions: sadness, anger, confusion, frustration. It's important to understand that these feelings are normal. So let's get to some things we can do to help us move on. We gotta move on. Number 1, acknowledging your emotions is important. Express how you feel. You can do that in a couple of ways. You can journal, which is really a healthy thing to do. Write it down. When you journal, it activates different parts of your brain. It helps you actually process through these emotions. Another thing you can do is verbalize how you're feeling. And I know that sounds nuts. I know it sounds crazy. I'm just gonna say out loud, I feel sad. Or hello, frustration, or hello, anger. Like they're there. Jed, is that what you're asking me to do? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. So do that. Verbalize how you feel. So number 1, journaling is good. Number 2, if you're daring, and might look like you're crazy, verbalize the emotion that you're feeling. Just say what it is out loud. Ultimately, this will help you to acknowledge these emotions, and it's a mindfulness exercise of sorts, because most of the time when we feel so uncomfortable, we're so good at distracting ourselves from it. This will just help us to pinpoint exactly what the emotion is. And you need to do that if you're going to resolve it. And remember, when I say acknowledge it, I'm not saying wallow in it. I'm saying acknowledge it. Acknowledge it, move on. Not acknowledge it and then, bathe around in that negative emotion for too long. We don't want to do that. That's unhealthy. Let's move on to the second thing we can do to help us move through this utter and complete rejection that we were a part of. So the second thing you can do, finally getting to it, is reflecting on the positive. There's gratitude and there's victim stance. They can't be in the same room together. It's too conflicting. So one thing to help resolve this is by reflecting on the positive memories that you did have. The text by my friend, he did it very eloquently. Something like, I will value our memories. Hey, good, that's good mental health. Just acknowledging the good times. I had good times with my friends, so many good times. I'm grieving that. That's appropriate. That's appropriate. What I don't want to slip into is, oh, I'll never have that again. They're probably out there having fun without me. Poor me. No. Don't slip into that. Just remember how good you had it for a hot minute. It was a good time. How lucky are you that you even had that opportunity to create those memories with those friends? And you'll feel it. You'll feel different with that mindset versus, wallowing around in it. You'll feel automatically different. And again, this is easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But that's the second thing that'll help you move through this hurt. And the third thing, and this might sound a little trite, but hey, use this time to focus on yourself. Go create something, On some level, it's good to have a distraction or create new meaning and purpose in your life to fill the gap, that hole that you might be experiencing from being ripped out of that relationship that used to provide a lot of comfort for you. Remember, life is not always going to be good. It is always going to be moving onward, though. Sometimes we have expectations that bad things just shouldn't happen, but that's not true. So what we do is we've learned from past friendships, past rejections, and rather than saying, oh, this hurt me so bad, you can redirect your brain hound onto how has this helped me grow. For me, losing that friendship helped me to value my other friends. Thankfully, I have more than 4 friends out there that I do stuff with. It's also made me curious around the thought that I might not be as good at communicating as I thought I was. I might not be perfect at this thing. I might not be the greatest friend. So on some level, I had to step back and think to myself, what might be my issue here? What might be going on with me that I could work on? And that leads to the last concept here of figuring out what you might have done differently. Remember, your brain is going to stick on stuff if it doesn't have any options of what could be done differently. So give your brain some homework. Hey, brain, let's get you away from high alert and anxiety about building future relationships with friends by figuring out what you might have done differently. If you're my friend watching this and you're like, I'm gonna cut this guy off, tell him that he didn't make the friend cut, just expect that I'll say, hey, why? Why? What happened? What's going on? You know what I mean? But I didn't do that first time. That was my bad. Living and learning. Remember, it's okay to seek support. Don't hesitate to reach out. And that's it. Thanks for watching the video. If you've gone through something similar, hey, share it. Put it in the comments. Let's support each other through these. Put some comments down. It's okay to feel the feels. It's okay. Life's not going to be great all the time. This will hopefully help you get through the suck. There you go. There's a video. If you want to see more like this, head over to the website, www.jedsaidtherapy.com. And until next time, awareness up.